Hello, in this video I'm going to help you answer an interview question on making effective decisions. Now this is one of the civil service success profile behaviours, but of course actually decision making is relevant to every organisation. I'm Elizabeth Conley, I'm a founder and senior interview coach at Interview Skills Clinic. Now making a decision or showing sound judgment is relevant at every level, whether you're a student and you're applying for a job or you're a senior director. For all of us, there's going to be times when we're faced with a challenge or problem and we have to make a decision on the way forward. Now, it could simply be that you've got to decide where you want to study your degree or your master's, or you could be making a really difficult strategic business decision at work. In this video, I'm going to cover 8 tips to help you answer the question well. First of all, you don't have to have an example where you are making the actual decision. People get really hung up about whether they're making the final decision themselves. But in my experience, most people at work make recommendations and somebody in a more senior level will actually approve that recommendation. In some ways, the more senior you are, the more strategic your decisions, and the more important it is to involve others. So for the second tip, decision making is actually all about demonstrating your analytical skills using data to make a decision. Essentially, you are demonstrating that you can make an objective as opposed to a personal judgment. This is why candidates in junior to mid-level roles are often going to be asked, tell me about a time when you had to analyse and evaluate complex information in order to make a decision or recommendation. Okay, the third tip, and this is a common mistake that I hear, is sharing an example where you had to make a difficult emotional decision. Now that could be, for example, making a decision about somebody that you've got to let go at work, whether that's through a dismissal or redundancy. It is a difficult decision, but actually the way you made that decision is often quite straightforward. The data or evidence is quite reliable and allows you to make that decision. But what makes that decision difficult is having to communicate that decision. So an example like that is better left to a communication question rather than a decision-making question, because you're not really demonstrating that strong analytical decision-making skills that are needed. Fourthly, what makes the decision challenging is when there's an absence of reliable data or benchmarks, or when the data is ambiguous. Think about it for a second. If the decision that you're making is relying on data and that data is giving you a really clear indication of what decision you should make, then that's not difficult. Okay, it's when you've got the absence of data that it's difficult. Or another example could be when there's some real wide consequences as a result of the decision you're making. Now, in public organisations such as the civil service, you're going to be much more risk adverse, say for example, to an online retail company such as Amazon, where the emphasis on decision making is going to be much more on the speed of decision making. You might have heard the saying, if you're going to fail, fail quickly. And I think that's quite a common saying in the retail sector, as decisions can be monitored and quickly reversed. For tip 5, it's really important to talk about how you arrived at your decision. What data did you consider? What did you do to make the data more robust? Did you seek out and speak to experts to make the data more reliable? So here we've got a real combination here of more quantitative but also qualitative data in order to back up the data so that you can make a more informed decision. For tip 6, what other options did you consider? Thinking about other options, I think, is really important instead of going just down one path of the decision that you're going to make. Did you actively seek out solutions and ideas from others? Did you even at senior levels ask people to challenge you on the decision that you were making? What were some of the alternative options that you considered and evaluated? For tip 7, now at more senior levels, it's really important to demonstrate that you can assess the risks of a decision, because in most cases, the data that you're relying on to make that decision is often not clear, and there is going to be an absence of data or some ambiguity. So you have to have that ability to actually assess the risk of the decision you're making and mitigate against some of those risks. So that allows you to make a quick decision and a balanced judgment quickly. Okay, this is why at senior levels, interview questions tend to focus on when you had to consider the risks of a difficult decision, or when you had to adapt your decision based on reputation or political risks. Lastly, for everybody, as decisions normally require buy-in and approval from others, you can be asked about a time when you had to make a decision which you knew was going to be unpopular, or how you had to communicate and influence somebody about that decision. So ultimately, this really allows you in your answer to demonstrate not just your objective decision-making skills, but it also allows you to demonstrate your influencing skills and using data to influence others as well. So there's a lot going on here, but I hope this has really helped you understand a little bit more about why decision-making questions are asked and what you need to include within your answers. Please add your questions below. And if you are interested to have some one-to-one coaching, we'd be delighted to help. You just need to use the link below to book a free consultation with us, and we can discuss coaching options with you. Remember, try to send us your CV and job description first, because this really helps us give you the right advice. Please share this video and like it so that it reaches more people. Good luck with your interview.